Oh shit, he's booted up Fata Morgana again. That's right, we technically finished Fata Morgana on Tuesday, but it is far from done. Let's go over the quick... So since the last stream of Fata Morgana where the credits rolled, I was able to do some sussing out about what we still have left as far as like time goes. Okay, so first thing I figured out is that the prologue is new. I'm pretty sure this prologue is new, so we'll read that first here today. It's, I think, quite short. Maybe like 15 minutes or so. All right, this is what the other things I found out. Okay, a Requiem for Innocence, which will also start today, I think is like 9 to 11 hours as far as I can tell. Reincarnation is like another 9 to 10 hours. And then short stories is some amount of time. I think it's like 3 or 4 or 5 hours or something. And then on top of all that, something that is not in this version of the game that I have is that, especially if you're familiar with Higurashi, or Higurashi from this channel when we were reading it, when you finished a chapter, they would do like these backstage things. And it was like meta, fourth wall breaking characters talking about being in the story or something like that. I'm pretty sure there's a backstage like thing for Fata Morgana as well, but it's not included in this thing that I have. So I think we're gonna leave that to the very, very end of everything. But for that, I'm gonna have to find like a YouTube upload from someone, and probably that's like not voiced, not talked over, and then just like old school, just read over it, basically. I think I'm gonna have to do that, because I think that's like apparently like an hour or so, and I don't think I want to miss that. That sounds like it might be fun to see. So I think I've found where I might be able to easily get that, but yeah, that's what we're looking at. If you want to do, so the quick math, prologue 15 minutes, let's just call this 10 hours, let's call that 10 hours, let's call that 5 hours, so that's 25, and then 26 or 27 for the, once you include the backstage thing, and then maybe add an hour or two because I'm slow as shit. So we're probably, honestly, probably looking at about 28 to 29 more hours of Fata Morgana extra stuff. I don't know what these, I made sure when I looked at like trying to get like time ranges, I don't know what they are. I didn't want to like spoil myself as to see like what a Requiem for Innocence is, or what Reincarnation or the short stories are. I don't know any of that, but I'm kind of committed at this point. I think we're going to commit to this, reading these on stream, because what's probably would happen is if I don't do it on stream, I probably won't do it off stream. And I kind of want to read it. So, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do it. We will do it. Tonight though, we're not just doing Fata Morgana. I don't feel rushed now to do Fata Morgana at this point. Tentatively, next week, obviously, there's not going to be many streams, but, I will, I'll think about over the next week, like, if we're still going to do, like, Tuesday, Fridays, Fata Morgana, or whatever. The problem is, that's 2 stream days out of the week, right? That's a third of our stream week. But if I don't do it, like, 2 times a week, then it's going to drag on longer, like, calendar-wise. So it's tough. I don't know what the good balance would be, but I'll think about that. Like, do I just do one long, like, weekend chunk of Fata Morgana every week? Probably not. That's probably not a good, I don't know. I'll think about it. Let's do the prologue first, and then we'll do the whatever it's called. Requiem of Innocence? Requiem for Innocence? Return to Innocence. Okay. Here we go. Back into reading mode. Oh, I was saying, tonight we're not just going to do Fata Morgana. I do want to play some Xenoblade, like a couple hours or so of Xenoblade. So we'll probably read this for like an hour and a half or 2, and then do some Xenoblade tonight. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think. Yeah. Okay, wake up. Please wake up. Come on. Come on, wake up. Like I said, I don't think the prologue's long. It's the maid. He, hey, 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 hey. Good morning. It's the maid and the witch, Morgana. What's the occasion? You never come to wake me up. I was merely concerned for your health. You really should be sleeping in a proper bed. You were concerned about me? You do realize the concept of health bears little meaning for either of us, don't you? Why would I not be concerned? You are me. If something were to cause you to depart this world, the same would happen to me. Ah, right. That's true. It was so long ago, I almost forgot I told her she was me. And it would seem she still believes that to be the case. Foolish woman. Heh. What kind of herbal tea would you like to start your day with? I have some lovely mint leaves if you would like. They are wonderful for improving one's mood. I have no interest in or need for tea. That is most unfortunate. In that case, perhaps you could tell me a story? A story? You mean the one about Mikhail and Giselle again? Yes, that one. I do love that story oh so very much. I, for one, am growing rather tired of it. Told it to you dozens of times now. Now, don't be like that. Best stories never stop being moving, no matter how many times you hear them. It's like I'm talking to a child. Alright then, how about this? I'm gonna ask you a question, and if you give me an answer I like, I'll tell you the story again. Oh? What kind of question? Nothing difficult, I promise. I want to hear your opinion on something. Do you think Giselle and Mikhail should be reunited? That is far from a simple question if I do say so myself. She would certainly be happiest if he were to return, yes? After all, Giselle yearns after Mikhail so much, she takes the name Michelle when she is reborn. Michael. That she does. She assumes the same name every single time. But her namesake, the real Mikhail, has never once shown up. No, he is not. In which case, the more realistic option for her to attain happiness would be to forget about him and stay here in the mansion with me. I could take very good care of her, provide her with enough happiness to balance out all the tragedy she's had to suffer. This is brilliant. If only she had any idea how far off the mark she was. You are Giselle, my dear. Another question then. If, hypothetically, you were Giselle, what would you do? What do you mean? Would you still want to be reunited with Mikhail? If I were Giselle, I imagine I would keep waiting, yes. For someone who, after hundreds of years, has never showed any signs of returning. As long as the possibility remains, what is a few hundred years? Waiting is something I do quite well. Furthermore, I've not been through any of what Giselle has, so I would have little reason to give up hope. I almost want to tell her, drag her back through all her memories. Mikhail showing up at the mansion, never realizing who you really are. You, unable to bear the disappointment, the betrayal. Is something the matter? I think I'll refrain, though. I have no particular desire to cause Giselle pain, and I wouldn't want her to break down entirely. She's of no use to me, non-functional. Your answer was not entertaining enough, so I won't be telling the story of Giselle and Mikhail today. It was not to your satisfaction? That's most unfortunate. Going for a walk. You do whatever you please. Enjoy yourself. Go for a walk. This isn't what I wanted. Tell me, it's not all my fault. Oh God. Closing your eyes won't make your problems go away. It won't erase your crimes. Won't take you out of this place. Won't make me despise you any less. Let me go, please. I'm begging you. I feel like I'm going to go mad. There's nothing here. Absolutely nothing. I vaguely remember a beautiful rose garden, but those memories just make it worse. I can't stand the sight of this emptiness any longer. You'd better get used to it, or accept your growing madness, because this is all you'll be seeing for eternity. It's not my fault. I'm not all my fault. Repeating that won't make it true. Tell me something, Mel. Who's the girl you cared most about? I presume you've been here long enough that you remember the era of roses. You remember what you said to your dear sister? The girl you once went to such lengths to save? You called her disgusting. You pushed her away. For good reason? For good reason? You were a terrible brother and person. Can't stop laughing when someone like you starts going on about how much you care, how important this or that person is to you. Empty, superficial, meaningless words. I love it. Please, enough. Brilliant. I'm so sorry. You'll never have my forgiveness. Never. Farewell, my dear. Back into the shadows with you. So she's just going for a walk and she's gonna like shit talk all the people that she's cursed. So she gets her kicks. Cruel. Oh, that's a beast noise. Oh man, I forgot that they do this for the swordsman Bestia voice. I don't even know how to describe that sound effect. It's so bizarre. I don't think I'll even bother with him today. Swordsman Yukimasa guy always getting like the short end of the stick. It's like, we don't need to talk to him, it's fine. Well, hello there, if it isn't Morgana. Where are you going? How you been? What you been up to? Wanna have a little chat? Do you know the time? Hello? Knowing who the person in the painting is now, it's kind of funny. It's just Lonely George. And I'm definitely not dealing with him. Shikopo. Oh, so you finally regained the appearance of a man. Your mind doesn't seem to be quite there yet, though. Having trouble moving around, too? Whatever it is you're trying to say, I can't say I much care. I revile you, far more than any of the others. You drained me of my blood, and then you murdered me. You're the worst of them all. Enjoy an eternity of agony. Eventually, the nothingness will become too much for you to bear. The more of yourself you regain, the more this place will eat away at you. I will say, it was quite amusing seeing someone as heartless as you try to show something resembling care for another human being. You learned your lesson, though, didn't you? Ultimately, you're only capable of causing pain. So long, Lord. Oh, Morgana. He's trying. Oh, back from your walk already? Not much to see, after all. What are you looking out the window for? Come see for yourself. Look, there's a shadow outside. A shadow? It is heading toward the house. I do believe I see white hair, too. It must be her. My oh my, need to get things prepared to welcome her back. Her? That doesn't make any sense. The mansion isn't in the physical world right now. So how could she be here? Wait, is that? She chose a wonderful time to return. There's no one else here to take her attention. I might be able to convince her to stay with me this time. Perhaps. Giselle's gone so blind. She can't even see that that's not a woman out there. Is that you, Kel? After all these years, you show up actually looking like yourself, without a body of flesh, at this gathering place of souls. I must have her be my master, for I have been waiting so very long. Master? Yes? What about it? You've never once called her that. Oh, I haven't? I cannot say I remember either way. I'm going to add a few logs to the fireplace. I do not want the house to be cold when she arrives. You go do that. Logs. I don't get it. Why are you showing up now, Kel, looking like that? And what provoked Giselle to call you master? Well, doesn't matter either way. Whatever your reasons, you're still frail and powerless. Suppose I'll just watch and see. More than happy to keep you around, as long as you don't look like her. I, too, have been wanting to see you again, Kel. Though not nearly as much as her. Wait, is that it? Oh. Oh, it is the tiniest of prologues. Okay. That's interesting. It's a little bit of the setup before. I was about to say, like, oh, it's weird they don't put the prologue before the actual reading of the story, and then I'm like, oh, there would have definitely technically been spoilers there, obviously, for the rest of that whole story. Okay, A Requiem for Innocence is where we begin. Like I said, I think I found out this is like 9 to 10 to 11 hours. This just the Requiem for Innocence part. So we're still going to be deeply entrenched in Fata Morgana for a while. Not for a long time, but for a while. Doing these story stuff. Not as long as we were entrenched in Higurashi extra stuff, though. That was a full year plus. It was a year plus of stuff. So we're not, at least it's not that much. But it is, it's gonna be a bit, but we're committed. Everyone, we are committed. Yeah, it's wait, what are these? I don't even know. I guess these are sections of it? Sections of stuff? So is music? Alright, I have no idea what this is going to entail. Death hangs in the air, spreading as far as the eye can see. What is this presentation? Trees and animals, the flowers, the rich, the poor, the pious. Oh god, it's going. This is a tale that was lost to time, when the witch was not yet a witch, when the boy still had hope in his eyes. Time has come to revisit that tale, to see exactly how their hopes and dreams came crumbling down. So this is clearly like young Morgana. Oh my god. Oh, we're so back? Oh, see, I love shit like this. We get like opening movie thing. So, okay, already I can tell this seems, just by that, this seems like it's going to be more of an expansion of the story of like young Morgana and the Jacopo guy. Lord, man, yeah. I mean, oh, here we go. He won't stand for injustice, yeah. Oh, more Maria is always a good thing, I think. Who's this? Taken from her home at a young age, she maintains a fairly positive outlook on life. We're getting a blast of characters. So a prequel story of sorts, I guess. Who? Gratian? Gratian? Oh, the Bad Lord guy. He gets we get a look at his mug. Odilon? Holy. Imion? It's a bunch of new names I get to butcher. I'm so excited. I love mispronouncing names. This is interesting because we already know how this is not going to end well. This doesn't end well. We know that this ends in sadness. So, I mean, not like that's necessarily a bad thing, knowing how a story technically ends, but yeah, there's no happily ever after. Then, yep, that's what I'm saying. Well. Oh, what is this? Hear me speedily, O Lord, my spirit faileth. Hide not thy face from me, lest I be like... oh my god, it's going, wait. I'm not even... Deliver me, O Lord, from mine enemies. I flee unto thee to hide. Teach me to do thy good will, for thou art thy God. Thy spirit is good. Lead me to the land of uprightness. Quicken me, O Lord, for thy name's sake, for thy righteousness' sake, bring my soul out of trouble, and of thy mercy cut off mine enemies and destroy all that afflict my soul. For I am thy servant. I love text that goes quickly. And auto moves. I did notice his flashback didn't have sprites. I wonder if this is why it was too detailed. Yeah, see, I made the justification that I thought that his story was presented differently because it was the other two backstory, they willingly told it. And the Lord guy, Jacopo, like, we dragged it out of him. Like the shadows, like, dragged out of him, and he wasn't willingly giving us this information. So that was my thought, is that it presented it differently because of the reason we were getting the story was differently. That was my thought process back at the time. I was like, oh, stylistically they're changing it just because it's whatever. That was my idea back then. Maybe still true. Maybe they wanted to change it slightly. I don't know. But whatever it is, we're getting more here. Cheers! A saint's blood and good fortune to all! Oh! Ah! Great image start the night off with. Voices. So many voices. Laughing. Was this the 10th such party? The 20th? I no longer had any idea. The Lord's guest merely drank of my blood. My father had not blessed me with his miracle, so wealthy nobles could fill their goblets with it. My blood was for the poor, for the infirm and the destitute. Why am I here? Why am I not doing my father's work? With each passing moment, my body grew colder and colder, while a mad, fiery fervor spread among the partygoers. Father, it hurts. My soul hurt far more than my body. Felt like it was cracked in a dozen places, about to shatter. Again and again I've told myself it was just a trial, that God was simply testing me, but I didn't think I could bear it much longer. A horrible black miasma spilled from the wounds of my flesh, filling the room. It was probably an illusion, something only I could see. Miasma soon began consuming my spirit. All my life I'd spent telling myself to be pure, just, righteous, and all that was corroding away, ripping me asunder. Father, O Lord, of thy mercy cut off mine enemies, and destroy all them that afflict my soul. For I am thy servant. I am thy servant. Please, O Father, deliver unto these sinners thy holy judgment. Cast them down into the depths of hell. For the sins they would commit against thy faithful servant. Disguised as a prayer, I cursed them. For the first time in my life, I wished someone ill. I did what a saint, what the daughter of God, must never do. And in that moment, I committed a sin greater than anyone else in that room. The girl! Look at her face! I began to hear panicked voices rising up around the hall. However, I was completely oblivious to the cause of the unrest. In fact, I assumed that perhaps God had heard my wish and struck down some of the partygoers. The Lord marched over to where I sat in chains, grabbing me by the hair and yanking my head up. In his other hand, he held a sword. A disguised grimace was carving in onto his face. Nope, a disgusted grimace. That's not disguised. Carved onto his face, as though he was looking down at the filthiest thing in the world. You're a damned witch wearing a saint's skin. Slice. Yeah, it's the guy. It's the boy himself. This is worse than I expected. The stench of rotting flesh hung in the air. Oh, we had new music now all of a sudden. Corpses were strewn about the room in varying states of decay. Blood pooled on the floor, black and thick as mud. An eyeball hung loose from one body, half decomposed, and about as much a liquid as it was a solid. That's gross. On many white bone was visible through patches of flesh that had rotted away entirely. Some had been worked to death. Others died of any number of diseases, and they were the lucky ones. Several bodies bore stab wounds from head to toe. Others looked like someone had tried to rip them in two. Some had been burned until their entire body shriveled, and some were covered in blisters. There was no shortage of people who had obviously been tortured, though the man on the other end of the torture, the Lord, Barnier, thought of it as more of a leisure activity. The Lord was spoken of in whispers as the second coming of the great tyrant of old, though it wasn't until I snuck into his manor and saw it for myself that I truly understood how accurate that was. So I'm going to adjust the audio slightly there. Okay, he was a damned psychopath. I apologize that I couldn't make it in time to save you all too. I'm hardly a religious man, but for you, I think I can spare a prayer. Rest in peace. Not myself today, though I suppose that shouldn't be a surprise considering what today is. I wonder if that girl from the other day is among the dead. No, I need to stay focused. If this goes south, I'll be the one joining this pile of bodies. God, I'm starting to get a little nervous. Don't go weak in the knees now, Jacopo. How can you ever expect to go out into the world if you can't even keep yourself together for something as straightforward as this? I can do this, no problem. Let's start ourselves a revolt. It all began a little over 2 weeks earlier. The local lord's iron-fisted rule was destroying the commoners, and this went doubly for those living in poverty who were barely scraping by before taxes. You could hardly take 3 steps out in the slums without hearing someone curse the Lord. I have no idea who first proposed the plan. Everything came together so smoothly, so quickly, it's almost a blur. What started as the everyday litany of complaints hurled back and forth between the usual crew of young, indignant men in the pub soon escalated, ballooning into a full-fledged plot to strike back. He treats us like dog shit. We're the ones working his goddamn land. Let's give the bastard what's coming. Over the next few days, word of the plot spread through the slums, and the number of volunteers grew at an impressive pace. And the more people we had on board, the more realistic it all started to become. While the original plan amounted to charging in headlong with whatever weapons we could scrounge together, it quickly evolved into a more sensible scheme to infiltrate the Lord's manor and free his slaves. It was no secret that the Lord was purchasing far more slaves than he should have any reasonable use for. What we didn't know was what he did with the slaves. But the banquets he so loved to throw were actually 6 sadistic torture parties. The best we could do was infer their living conditions were less than ideal from the fact that the Lord kept acquiring more. And while the plan to free the Lord's slaves was undeniably rooted in a righteous desire, I'd be lying if I said everyone's intentions were so pure. We wanted to right an injustice, absolutely, but the prevailing desire was for vengeance, to give the Lord a little comeuppance. Part of it was also calculated. It would be advantageous for it to look like a slave revolt rather than a civilian uprising. If we struck from the outside, we were liable to bring the Lord's wrath down upon more than just a handful of us involved. But if the blow came from the inside, he couldn't blame us. Secondly, Lord's mansion sat atop a hill, which meant his soldiers had the advantage of terrain. It would be not impossible for a band of lowly, ill-equipped peasants to break through his defenses. We certainly didn't have the money to hire mercenaries. No amount of righteous anger was getting us anywhere near that manor. On the other hand, quietly getting one person inside to stir the pot was far more feasible. So ultimately, freeing the slaves was a means to an end. It was our best chance to deal the Lord a real blow. Of course, that didn't mean we wouldn't save as many people as we could, nor did it mean it would be easy to pull off, or that any of us would make it out alive. The plan went as follows. We would find a slave trader willing to sell one of us to the Lord. Once they had infiltrated, they would spread word of the scheme to the other slaves, trying to get as many of them on board as possible. Finding a slave trader willing to cooperate was surprisingly easy. They're businessmen, and slaves their product. While the majority didn't give a damn what happened to the slaves after they'd received payment, there were more than a few who were displeased knowing their precious wares were being squandered. Slaves are supposed to be long-term workers. They're not meant to be expendable. They require food and rest and some semblance of reasonable living conditions. It was far from a glamorous life, obviously, but most sensible slave owners at least had a vested interest in keeping their workers alive. However, that was far from the case with Lord Barnier. Slaves were, of course, the property of whoever purchased them, and a mere slave trader had no place complaining about how they were being treated. That didn't mean the traders had to like it, though, and there was a small collective of them who staunchly refused to do business with the Lord, quietly mocking any who did. Nobody openly spoke ill of the Lord, let alone opposed him directly. not only because this land was under his control, but because he was a madman, and everyone knew it. So they would help us get in and nothing more. But that was fine. That was all we needed from them to put our plan into action. And the vanguard of our operation, the one who would infiltrate the Lord's manor, was me. I volunteered for the position, partially in the heat of the moment, but also because I was confident I could pull it off. Above all, though, I didn't want to believe that I couldn't manage such a straightforward task. I had to step up and take initiative, or I would never escape this life as a poor, lowly slum dweller. Crawling through the dirt, everyone, nobles and peasants alike, looking down on me, thinking I'm worthless. That would be me for my whole pathetic life. Like hell I was going to let that happen. I wanted to claw my way up, as high as I could manage. I didn't want to surrender to accept that I was powerless. I wanted to make something of my one and only life. We chose the beginning of the Lord's next banquet for my infiltration, and that was when I saw the horror for myself. The abuse and the torture he put the slaves through. It was a goddamn blood banquet. Any mistake, no matter how small, would invite harsh discipline. If Barnea was in a particularly foul mood that day, he would physically beat the wrongdoer. He had a particular fondness for activities that drew blood, though, and he would regularly gather together nobles with similar predilections at his manor. That's that one. Once a banquet had begun, it generally continued for around 2 weeks. The first thing I did after infiltrating was spread word of the plan to the other slaves. To be honest, I assumed it would be easy getting them to cooperate. They should have reviled Barnea more than anyone, after all. But I couldn't have been more wrong. Every ounce of willpower had been drained from them. They were malnourished, unrested, and violently oppressed. I could hardly have convinced them to swat a mosquito. He had them completely under his thumb. Everyone was utterly terrified to fight back against Barnea. They would just as soon take their own lives. Hardly a day in, and the plan already seemed to have hit a wall. A full week I spent trying and failing to convince a single soul to assist in the revolt, just as I was beginning to fear it might not work after all. This guy! We need to talk. Come with me. He was a tall, muscular slave who spent most of his time doing physical labor. Despite the poor conditions, he seemed to be keeping himself in rather good shape. And, unlike the other slaves, his eyes weren't filled with fear and resignation. But it wasn't hope I saw in them either. Rather, they looked like the eyes of a bloodthirsty wolf, and his unkempt, greasy blonde hair only served to amplify the primal impression he gave off. Between that and the faint, cocky smirk visible on his lips, he more resembled the head of a gang of ruffians than a slave. I wasn't sure it was entirely wise to accompany him anywhere, but against my better judgment, and with far too little information, I followed the man to the Great Hall. The lion of a man. There were a dozen or so nobles and upper-class men and women clustered about the hall. The air was filled with the scent of aromatic herbs. It wasn't long before I realized they were meant to mask the smell of blood. A large table was lined with plates stacked with piles of glistening dark red meat. Noblemen sneered at us with wet lips as we entered the room. The contrast between the nobles' practiced, graceful mannerisms and the grotesque feast of which they were partaking was so bizarre I simply stood there aghast. There was no room for anger to form. The Lord stood on a platform like a small stage at the far end of the room. This picture of him, damn. Are you the slave who offered to be the day's entertainment? The buff man nodded, dropping down to one knee. What does he mean by entertainment? Surely you've tried to merely inflicting pain on helpless slaves. Or you're tired. Would you by chance be interested in something a little more exciting? Could you be any more disrespectful? Lord Barnea, you would do best to rid yourself of a barbarian such as him. There, give the poor man a break. You can't expect an uneducated slave to be properly versed in the ways of polite society. Now, elaborate, slave. Me and him, we duel. Right here, right now. Do you seriously think we haven't already pit slaves against each other numerous times by now? If that's all, tell me, were they as vigorous as the two of us? Young and chomping at the bit? Well, if all you want to see are a couple half-dead slaves limply flailing at each other, then help yourselves. But you're not gonna find many here who could give you a fight with some real oomph, you know? Hell, half the slaves here probably keel over with just a little shove. So I figure you might be up for a little change of pace. Barbarian like me. Whoa, I never agreed to this. Suck it up, you're a slave. Oh, that was, sorry. I read that as, the, fucking Barney, but that's Jacopo. He was saying, whoa, I never agreed to this. Okay, there we go. Too many new characters. I'm getting them all shuffled up. Slave Man says, suck it up. You're a slave. Since when have you heard the right to agree to anything? You make a compelling argument. Gratian? What's it? Gratian? Something? I gotta determine. Gratian. I'm gonna say Gratian. Alright, sounds better in my mouth. My lord knows my name. I'm honored. I only remembered because you came very highly recommended. Slave trader said you were descended from a line of warriors that made a name for themselves fighting in the ancient Colosseum. I'd assumed he was exaggerating, but perhaps there was some truth to it after all. Who can say? Couldn't tell you about my ancestors. What I can tell you is that I just love a good duel. Fought in the Colosseum, descended from gladiators. I'm supposed to go one-on-one against him? Very well. Guards, bring these 2 swords. Sir. Shit. What is he hoping to accomplish? To win Barney his favor? Guess I'll just have to hope I can catch him by surprise as soon as... Hey, kid, listen up. What? Eyes forward. Keep it down. Listen carefully. Don't get any wise ideas. Got it? Just go along with it. Everything on the level. What are you scheming? You'll find out soon enough. Assuming you can handle a sword anyhow. 2 guards approached us, each carrying a long sword. It was heavier than I expected and it felt awkward in my hands. Both of our blades were badly chipped, clearly old and battle-worn. Of course, they wouldn't give new, quality weapons to a pair of slaves, but a sword was still a sword. Beaten though they may have been, I still had to be careful I'd be dead before I ever got the slave revolt off the ground. That said, I'd survived this long in the slums. I wasn't completely helpless, and I'd experience with a dagger. Though I wasn't sure how much help that would be now. A longer, 2-handed weapon still felt awkward in my hands. As I squinted at the blade's hilt and adjusted my grip, trying to familiarize myself with the feel of it, Barney took a seat, readying himself to spectate. That's when I caught sight of what lay hidden at the back of the stage. What? Oh, not this again. Oh! I stood there, staring agape, completely forgetting I was but moments from a duel with a man twice my size. At the back of the stage was what looked like an altar draped in a thick white sheet and stained red. Atop it sat a young girl covered in gashes. Her head was drooped, so I couldn't see her face, but judging from her size, I didn't think she could be more than 10 years of age. Some wounds were older, and had already scabbed over. Some were swollen, bright red protrusions on her pale skin. Some were oozing pus, and others were so fresh they were still bleeding. It was difficult to find a part of her body that wasn't cut. Hey, but what do you think you're doing to that girl? I don't care who you are. No one deserves that. Even as I shouted at the Lord, the girl remained motionless. She seemed unconscious. Not dead yet, but it wouldn't be long. Silence, cur. I don't recall giving you permission to speak. Or if you'd rather lose your head right now, continue on as you are. Damn despot. Now go on, get started. Give us a show befitting of this grand affair. Fighting my urge snapped back at him, turned to face a slave named Gratian. The other guests lined the walls, whispering among themselves, speculating about the potential victor. The crowd was so overwhelmingly in Gratian's favor, to absolutely no surprise, they didn't even bother taking bets. Try not to go down in one blow, kid. Hold on. What's the point of this? Slowly, Gratian lowered into a crouch. And the next second, he leapt at me like a tiger. There was an audible whoosh, and before I even had time to gasp, he was mere inches away. What choice do I have? I swung my sword up, catching Gratian's blade mid-descent and attempting a parry, but there was far more weight in his strike than I had expected. The impact caused my hand to sting painfully and my knees to buckle. Clenched my teeth, trying at the very least to hold my ground. Raw. Gratian barely gave me time to recover, let alone strike back, before launching into a second attack. He handled the longsword so effortlessly, swinging it through the air in such impressive, perfect arcs, I could hardly believe we were both using the same weapon. Ha! I twisted out of the way, but not quite in time. The tip of his blade skimmed the skin of my neck. And then, not even giving me a chance to catch my balance, he thrust his blade at me. While I managed to deflect the attack just in time, I wasn't able to follow through. Meanwhile, a wide, mocking smirk spread across Gratian's face. He seemed to be having the time of his life. Come on, kid. You're gonna have to do better than that if you want to keep your head. rattled off several insults in my head, but unlike him, I couldn't spare the energy to put them into words. Pick it up, boy. God damn. That all you got, kid? Thought you'd fare a little better. Shut your damned mouth. I was stuck on the defensive, and with every strike he pushed me farther and farther back. I was almost up against the wall. I thought he said this was part of some plan. Or was he just trying to get me to let my guard down? He's conspiring with the Lord, he must be. Why challenge me to a duel, though? Did someone spill word of the plan to him? Come on, give me your best shot, boy. Yes, very funny. You're damn well I'm barely managing as it is. Gotta at least try. Don't want to put our audience to sleep now, do we? Even the bones in my forearms are starting to sting. Don't know how much longer I can keep this up. Here, let me show you how it's done. God, I can't get a damn inch on him. Much more of this and I'll be up against the wall. Dead if I don't go on the offensive. Now's my last chance. I still got breathing room. Hey, big guy. You may think you have the advantage, but not for long. That's rich, coming from a guy who can't even get one swing in on me. It was all a trick to get your guard down. Been saving this one just for you, meathead. Good luck dodging it with that hulking body of yours. Now that's more like it. Let me have it, kid. I hopped backward a couple paces until my heel was pressed up against the wall. There was no backing down. Not anymore. Breathing heavily, I lifted my blade, pointing at Gratin. He pointed it at his in turn, a cocky grin plastered on his face. And then, I kicked off the ground. Hard. Sending me flying toward him. My sword held down near my waist, his above his head. And then, whoosh. Whoa, JPEG moved. He whiffed, his blade ripping through the air just over my head. The mere force of the gale created by his swing was so intense. For a brief moment, I thought he might have knocked my head clean off my shoulders. But I was still breathing, and despite the exhaustion, my mind was incredibly clear and focused. I hadn't swung up at him, but slid across the floor. Your back's wide open. I lurched to my feet, spinning around, and swung my sword at his neck with everything I had. Raw! What? But my would-be grand comeback was deflected from behind without a bat of an eye, and hardly a wimpy deflect for that matter. My hands felt like they were on fire. Little bit on the dirty side that was, but hey, not half bad, kid. Damn it. Just a little more oomph of that swing and you might have landed it. Too bad. I don't stand a chance against him head on, but he's not one to fall for the same trick twice. I need a new plan. Back against the wall with ya. Son of a... What's the matter, kid? That all you got? After all that talk, I was expecting a little more from ya. Grrr. He's got me completely under his thumb. I'm dead if I don't do something. I can barely lift my arms anymore. It's getting harder to breathe. My vision's going blurry. I can't die yet. Not here, not now, not to this damn brute. Has to be something. An opening, I'm not seeing anything. Some way to turn the tables. Am I imagining it, or did I react to that quicker than usual? Is he doing what I think he's doing? Patterns were forming in my mind. I'd been through this routine so many times now my body instinctively knew what came next. I'd parried his strike entirely by reflex. I know, seriously. Action. Heavy, intense action. I wasn't so full of myself as to think it was a sign I was gaining the upper hand. As much as I'd loathe to admit it, he had every imaginable advantage over me. I should have realized what he was doing sooner, but I'd been so focused on keeping my head attached with my sword in my hand that I didn't have the spare mental capacity to see beyond that. He was in complete control. The only reason I was able to keep up with him was because he was letting me. Because he was repeating the same sequence of attacks again and again. If I'm right, then next, he'll come from above. Oh, right on the money. A clang like the pealing of a bell echoed through the hall as our blades collided. It was a much cleaner, more satisfying sound than they had made when I was struggling to keep up. I still don't know what he's scheming, but I'm not going to throw away this chance to win back some ground. Sparks flew with each clash of our swords, and Gratin's smirk grew wider. I could hear murmuring bubble up in the gallery as the tides turned. Cheering, cursing, confused gasps, but before long the sound seemed to grow distant. It was just me and Gratin in a bubble of silence. Not even the sound of a metal striking metal, my heavy breathing, the stomping of our feet, the distractingly loud pounding of my heart, the blood pumping through my veins. It all wisped away into nothing. Every one of my senses were focused on exactly two things: the image of our swords cutting clear arcs through the air, and Gratin's intent. "That's it. Next, overhead." He whispered so quietly that by all rights I could have never heard it, but his intentions came through loud and clear. As if being controlled by that voice, I swung my sword down. After about a half dozen such clashes, we locked blades and had a brief shoving match before putting a little distance between each other. Then we went at it again, and then we went back to it again. To the audience, it would have looked like a fierce battle to the death, but I felt more like we were dancing than anything. Well, he was dancing. I was merely following his lead. But if that was his plan, whatever his plan was, I had no choice but to dance to his beat. The only thing improvisation would get me is a sword through the heart. Meanwhile, sticking to the plan, I had nothing to worry about. No reason to fear his sword might go off course. After several more fierce clashes, we got in close again. We were both breathing pretty heavily by that point. I was drenched in sweat, felt like I'd collapse right then and there if I loosened up for even a second. Gratin tossed a glance off to the side for the briefest of moments. His lips came together, curling up into a smile. "Listen up. 3 paces back, then charge. Swing down as hard as you can. Put everything you got into it." As soon as I signaled my acknowledgement, Gratin parried my sword off to the side. 1, 2, 3 paces back, then I gathered my strength into my legs. I crouched, like he had the beginning of the duel, envisioning myself as a tiger ready to pounce. And then, we leapt at each other in perfect sync. What? Harsh sound of metal striking metal, more piercing than anything else up to that point. For a heartbeat, the world went white. Then, the whoosh of something ripping through the air. It wasn't for another second or two that I realized what had happened. Breathing heavily, I looked down at the sword in my hands, only to find half of it missing. Gratin's blade appeared to have snapped as well. The gallery began buzzing. "Are you all right? How dreadfully dangerous!" Heh. A perverse grin spread across Gratin's lips. I finally understood what he had been scheming. He wanted the swords to break, and he wanted it to look like an accident, hoping that when the shattered blades went flying, a noble or two would be caught in the crossfire. That explained the whole song and dance, why he had us hitting each other's blades in the same spots again and again. But how the hell would you ever expect that to work? That said, if the fight had gone on much longer, I don't think I would have lasted. His plan seems to have gone about as well as you could reasonably expect. One piece landed near Barnier, and the other embedded in a table. It's fine by me. I'd rather avoid causing any more of a scene before the actual revolt. Not that I would be opposed to seeing any of these madmen skewered. Gratin wiped the sweat from his brow with the back of his hand and surveyed the room. As obviously outclassed as he was by all the nobles, he still seemed much larger than anyone else in the room. He took a few moments to catch his breath, then sauntered over to the center of the great hall, taking another good look around the room before saying, "Apologies for the disturbance, my lord. Ordinarily a duel's supposed to end with someone dead. Looks like this was out of the question today. So mayhap we can reschedule? Put on another show in a day or two if you'd like." Barney seemed less than pleased with the outcome, but considering how rattled his guests were, he couldn't press the matter either. "Very well. Now I believe you two deserve a reward for such a fine show." "Ooh, what kind of reward?" "One I'm sure you'll be quite pleased with. The leftovers from today's feast. Gourmet cuisine the likes of which you mere slaves could only dream of getting your dirty hands on." "You mean those bleeding scraps of mystery meat?" "Ew! Ew!" "Ha, worry not. There's pork in there. Or does your religion prohibit you from eating pig?" "Nah, Gave up on religion long ago. Fine with eating meat. Most meat, anyway. I'll have the other slaves bring it down this evening then. Now, show's over. Be gone with you. Gone we be, my lord. Still concerned about that girl, but there's nothing I can do for her right now. Hopefully, she lasts long enough for the revolt, but with wounds like that. I really thought this was going to be the start of, like, the revolt kind of, like, thing somehow. I thought this was, like, we were heightening to the moment where, like, I genuinely thought it was going to be, like, accidental stab. Like, he was going to deflect the weapon, parry it, and then it was, like, like, he parries my blade attack, and then, like, I ricochet off and, like, sword into the guy. But that's not what happened. Maybe they was trying to make me think that that's what was going to happen, but... Hey, kid, pick your beat ass up and let's get out of here. I'm not beat. Thank you very much. Who are you trying to fool when you're wheezing up a lung? Getting a huffy about it only makes you look more pathetic. Exactly. I thought that was it. I was like, oh, we're already doing it. Okay. It's not. I can only think that the game was trying to make us think that that's what was going to happen, though. Right there. Especially with the blade, like, snapping and... Anyway. Piss off, you inhuman monster. Now, do you have a wonderful day? Do have a wonderful day, ladies and gents. Walk, 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 walk. Sorry, had to drink water. Okay. Once we were out of the hall and in the corridor, I took several deep breaths, finally letting loose some of the tension that had built up within me. As we made our way through the corridors, the sound of the nobles laughing and chattering away amongst themselves faded into nothing. We headed for the rather barren waiting room where slaves without assignments were kept. In essence, it was a human closet. I looked up at Gratian, who was standing beside me. I had about a dozen things I wanted to say to him, but I couldn't organize my thoughts into words, so I simply shrugged and pursed my lips. Yeah, that was a shame. Huh? What was a shame? You were hoping to kill at least one noble when the swords broke, weren't you? If only. I'm not that skilled, hell no. You could have fooled me. If anything, I'd say we're lucky it went as well as it did. It's a damn good thing they gave us their old crusty swords, or we'd never managed to break them at all. If not to skewer one of the nobles, then why'd go to such lengths at all? Well, because otherwise we'd have to fight to the death, of course. No, that's not what I'm... Of course, we both know who'd be standing here then. As much as I hate to admit it, he has me beat in almost every category. For God's sake, how do you even get that good with sword? Is it hereditary or something? What I'm trying to figure out is what your ultimate objective was in this whole facade. Why challenge me to the duel at all? You're planning a revolt, aren't you, kid? What does that have to do with anything? Just answer the question. Denying it will only delay the inevitable, so no point in that. And I'm fairly certain he's not on the Lord's side, at least. If he was just trying to win the Lord's favor, can't imagine the duel would have ended the way it did. You can probably trust him. Yes, I am, and I need the other slaves' help to pull it off. But the little drone's been sucked all their fight, and can't get anyone on board. I even asked the question, if you already know the answer. Hey now, no need for the lip, kid. Brought it up because I'm trying to tell you I'm in. You're in? Excuse me? What about anything you've done today would make me think you're in? Bear with me for a second. Put yourself in the other slaves' places. Some dick they never met before shows up out of the blue saying I've organized to have all you set free and I need your help to do it. You think they're gonna buy into it? Fair enough. But it is true that I have people outside. Don't matter. You could be lying through your teeth and it wouldn't change a damn thing. All that matters is whether they think you're worth getting behind. I see your point. These slaves have been driven into the very depths of despair. They need someone that's charismatic enough to pull them out of that pit before they can be sparked to take any sort of action. Before infiltrating, I imagine it would be much simpler. It would seem that this was rather naive of me. That was a whole lot of words to say the same thing I just said. Forget your fancy metaphors. If it all boils down to this, do they think you have a chance of pulling it off, yes or no? These poor people. They don't got the energy to get all philosophical. They go with their gut. And the quickest way to their gut? Show them you're strong. Ah, now I'm starting to understand what the duel was for. The other slaves already know of your prowess, so if I were to fight on the same level as you, then they'd be willing to hear you out. Exactly. Oh there, kid. Why a sigh? Trying to blow this place down? Could have easily accomplished that without putting on a damn show in front of the Lord and putting my life in danger. It wasn't just for the other slaves, kid. What do you mean? I wanted to make sure you weren't some yellow-bellied pissant. That you're actually capable of doing what you promise. And now that I know you got a semi-functional spine, I want to help out with the revolt. Semi-functional, huh? Well, glad I didn't disappoint you then. Given my performance back there, couldn't blame you if you deemed me beyond hope. Give yourself a little more credit, kid. While I'm pretty sure the stories about my ancestors being gladiators are exaggerated, I did participate in a few death games myself, back before I ended up here. You should consider it a badge of honor that you fought a brute like me and lived to tell the tale. I was under the impression the church put an end to gladiatorial games. Ah, right. Went underground. Rules may change, but not people. Always a market for blood sports. Then yada yada, I got sold to the Lord, and here I am. Probably explains what he meant when he said he had given up on religion. So what's your story, kid? My money's on some rich aristocrat who got it in his head he wanted to play a hero and stop the big bad Lord from being mean to his slaves. What the hell gave you that idea? Wait, did I read that line right? So what's your story? My money's on... Okay, I see what he's saying. Okay, you strike me as more of a prissy rich boy than a ruffian is all. Prissy rich boy? I come from the slums, so no, not just some upper-class punk playing hero. A fact? Well, color me surprised. Sure don't talk or act like any of the slum boys I know. That's probably because... Nothing. And now I'm even more curious, damn it. Honestly, it's not that interesting, I promise. Forget I said anything. It's because I want to be able to blend in when I eventually leave the slums. But he doesn't need to know that. I only just met him. Whatever you say then. In that case, how about we do some proper introductions, huh? Name's Gratin, which you should already know. Nice meeting you, kid. Jacopo. Very glad to have your support, Gratin. Gratian. Gratian, maybe? I don't know. Don't mention it. I've been wanting to make the scumbags eat dirt myself, and this is the perfect chance. Alright, one more thing I wanted to ask. What? What? How old are you? Excuse me? Is that relevant to anything? Jeez, kid. Someone really needs to teach you how to shut up and answer a simple question. I'm 19. Oh, thank God, I'm 20. Now I don't have to feel like an ass for calling you kid. I'm only a year younger. Hardly makes me a kid. A year's a long time, kid. Now that I got that off my shoulders, I can put my all into helping with your revolt. I'm starting to wonder if I even want this guy's help. Once I had Gratian on board, it was remarkable how quick the rest of the slaves were to join in. They knew him, and they respected him, and that respect went a long way toward improving my own standing. As far as they were concerned, I had fought Gratian and managed to hold my own. The big man was right. It wasn't a clever plan or a moving speech these people needed to put the light back in their eyes. It was a show of strength. Over the next few days, as Barney and his guests indulged themselves, word of the plan quickly spread beneath the surface. I started to see signs of life for the first time since I'd arrived. The majority of the slaves were emaciated and weak. There was a good possibility the guards would kill many of them. But still, I urged on any who hesitated by saying, if you choose to stay, you're guaranteed to be killed eventually. It was true, to be sure, but in essence I was threatening them. Help or be left behind to die. And that was enough to convince them to grab onto the thread of hope I was offering, however frail it may be. We chose the 13th day of the banquet to commence the revolt. Waiting until almost the end of the party's usual 2-week duration gave us a slight tactical advantage. Naturally, Barney's guests did not attend without their own protection, but after being made to watch over almost 2 weeks of debauchery, the guards would start getting exhausted. They would stop caring, and that was exactly what we needed. Hey there, Jacopo. Everything's good to go on my end. You can give Lord an asshole what's coming whenever you're ready. Thank you. I appreciate all your help. Whoa there, kid. Save the thanks after we get out of here with our heads still attached. Fair enough. And how about this? If we both survive, we'll take you to the best pub in the slums. As long as there's pretty ladies, count me in. There's one I can introduce you to, if you don't mind your girl's headstrong with a little bit of bite. I wonder who we're talking about there. I wonder. Tough and pretty? Now that I can get behind. Spent so long surrounded by all these half-dead drones that I could stand for some good-natured abuse right about now. Good-natured might be a bit of a stretch. Rub her the wrong way and you'll find yourself short a pair of jewels. Think I'll pass on that one then. I don't care how much of a looker she is. I'm ready for her to be my last. How about this then? I tell you what I'm looking for, and you have someone picked out for me by the time it's all over. Flexible in the looks, but slender and short are a must. Meaty girls ain't really my type. Blonde hair and blue eyes are a plus, but it ain't a deal breaker. And I like them to be a bit... Slow down there. Got your head way too far in the clouds if you think you're gonna find your ideal wife at a brothel in the slums. But hey now, how do you expect me to give this my all without something to look forward to on the other side? I suppose it is a decent motivator. See? You get me. Now, on to business. You ready to do this? I've been ready, kid. Just waiting for the word. It's about as good an answer as I could have hoped for. Before we begin, I want to go over the plan one last time. After you've secured weapons from the armory, you take command of the other slaves and go open the gates. While you're doing that, I'll signal to my people outside, then cause a diversion. As long as we don't make too much noise, the Lord and the other nobles shouldn't realize anything's amiss till we're on top of them. As soon as the gates are open, you head for the Great Hall, where we'll rendezvous. We crash the party. While the Lord and his friends are distracted, my people will lead the slaves to safety. And then we swipe up all the shiny things we can carry and get our asses the high hell out of there. Right, can't forget the valuables. Huzzah! Getting all sorts of fired up. Don't you trip and fall on some guard's sword before you even get started fun, you hear me? Same to you. Well then, let's get going. May fate be on our side. Damn right. Damn right. Hey, what do you think you're doing? You're not supposed to be here. Get back to... stay back. Don't make me kill you. Wait. Stop. Dead. You're up. Come on, draw your bloody cards already. Don't rush me, I'm thinking. On with it. It's almost lunch. If I hold this, throw away these, then I could. Christ. You hear that? Sounds like something's happening downstairs. Quit trying to distract me. I ain't letting you run off with the pot like last time. No, I'm serious. Something's going on down there. It's probably just a slave getting beat. How are you not used to that by now? I don't know. Something feels off to me. I'm gonna go check it out. And don't even think about messing with the cards while I'm gone. I won't. Hurry back. Ain't no bonus for giving a rat's arse. It beats me what he's so eager about. God, I wish I could have gotten hired at a place that paid a little better. Am I seeing things? I swear I just saw something move. You, on the wall. Get down from there. What do you think you're doing? You're not supposed to be, put the knife away before I... Ha! You're up here playing cards and you have the nerve to call yourself a guard. I expected resistance to be light, but not this bad. Should take care of this and get out of here before the other one returns. It's amazing how much better a knife feels in my hands than a sword. So much easier to handle. Though it's not much help if they manage to draw on me first. Maybe I'll ask Gratian to teach me how to use a sword if we both make it through the day. Hate the idea of giving him any more reason to claim superiority over me, but I can't think of anyone better than him. Keeping an eye on my surroundings, I climbed up onto the watchtower. I could hear shouting in the distance. Seemed Gratian was doing his job. I pulled a brightly colored cloth from my pocket and affixed it to the highest point in the tower. As it began flapping in the wind, I turned my attention toward a hill in the distance. A group of tiny dots emerged from behind a rock formation, heading this way. I let out a sigh of relief. Next up, time to make some noise. Back up! We need backup! The slaves are revolting! Revolting? Are you serious? What do you think you're carrying that damn sword for? You shouldn't need backup, just put them down. Yes, but there's too many of them, and they're not messing around either. They're stampeding right through us. They don't care how many of them die. And one of them is practically a giant. Oh, quit pissing yourself over a bunch of damn slaves. Who cares how big one of them is? They're not armed, just... B? Behind you! Huh? Huh. Sorry to disappoint you, but we are armed. Maybe you should consider posting another couple guards in front of your armory. Hey, there he is, there he is, there he is! Come on, little man. Let's see what you got. You're no fun. Anywho, get these gates open, boys. Yeah. Ooh, take it those are Jacopo's people. Kid actually did his job instead of booking it the hell out of here. Good on him. Of course, it's exactly what I was gonna do if I didn't see his people when he opened the gates. Guess he actually is good for his word. Which means I'm sticking through to the very end. Hey, take out as many of the bastards as you can on your way in. And be thorough. We want a clean escape. We don't want to give them a chance to surround us. Keep at it. Don't let them get organized. If we fuck this up, the ass pipe. Yep, that's what it says. If we fuck this up, the ass pipe, it's got the gallows for all of us. It's the gallows. If you need a weapon, grab a rock, a vase, a fucking decapitated head, anything you can find. Gratin, how are things progressing? Smooth as a baby's behind. Your reinforcements are here making good, or right good work of the guards. Man, I struggle reading how he talks. Right good work of the guards, getting as many slaves out as I can. I'm glad to hear it. Now let's head down to the Great Hall. Aye, let's. Like nothing more than to rip the Lord's head right off his shoulders. Point is not to kill the Lord. It's to deal enough, just enough of a blow that he stops throwing so many damn banquets. For now, anyway. And what if I trip and my sword just happens to run him through? I'd rather you didn't, if at all possible. But whatever happens, happens. Alright, let's do this. Yeah! Is it just me, or is it unnaturally noisy in there? Did some of the others beat us to it, maybe? Far as I know, we're the first ones here. Well, guess we'll find out. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Chaos reigned over the manor, but the chaos in the hall where the Lord held his banquet was of a slightly different flavor. A buzz filled the room. Noblemen and women murmured, shuffling backwards, putting distance between each other, tossing goblets to the ground. As Gratin had suspected, we were the first ones there. So why was everyone so tense? Whatever the cause of the disturbance, it seemed it was at least partially to thank for things proceeding so smoothly. Question is, what is happening here? Out of the corner of my eye, I caught sight of the Lord. He stomped over toward the far end of the hall. Sitting atop the makeshift altar was the same young girl I had seen a week prior. For a brief moment, relief came over me at the knowledge she was still alive, but that relief quickly morphed into dread. You! He unlocked the shackles binding the girl. Too weak to hold herself up, she fell forward into a slump, her long, burgundy hair fanning out around her limp body. And then... You're a damned witch wearing a saint's skin! Lord raised his sword high above his head. Gratin, I'll be borrowing that. What? Hey, you little son of a... What? I hurled Gratin's long sword for the Lord, knocking his blade from his hands. I hurled Gratin's long... Oh, nope. Oh, I see how okay, the two swords rattled to the ground. It disappeared and then came back. I tossed my gaze to the girl for a split second. She was very clearly out of it, but she seemed to be breathing. Finally, realizing a pair of slaves had just burst in on them, the nobles' panic swelled, and one of them started shouting for the guards. Well, fuck me sideways. If there's any chance we had a surprise attack. Damn it all. Made the perfect distraction, too. Ah, to hell with it. Get in here, boys! Yeah! Wait a sec. Need my sword first. The next second, the room was enveloped in a cacophony of shouting and screaming and clanging. Most of the nobles carried swords, but very few actually seemed to have any idea how to use them, the majority scrambling for the back exit. You insolent worm! Who do you think I am? To threaten your lord is to slight God. Ever the cocky bastard, I see. Tell me, do you have any idea what's happening right now? Silence, cur! You will regret ever defying me. Nothing more original, you third-rate fairy tale villain. I was the one who had said the Lord's death was not part of the plan, yet there I was, going straight for him. Gratian was absolutely right. The Lord had been distracted with the girl when we arrived, but I had thrown that advantage away. I'd seen God knows how many slaves killed in hardly 2 weeks' time. Adding another body to the pile shouldn't have fazed me one bit. Logically, there was no reason for me to care, but I couldn't just leave her. And of course, now that I picked a fight with the Lord, I had no choice but to follow through to the very end. I dashed for the Lord, scooping up one of the dropped swords and swinging it down on him. But my blade cut through nothing but air. I'd assumed he would be a pushover, another noble obsessed with money and power and helpless to defend himself, so there was no hiding the look of shock on my face. Damn, he can move! Barney slid out of range, swiping the remaining sword off the ground and whipping it through the air with practiced grace. Perhaps you should save the snide yapping for when you have the skill to back it up, insignificant cur! See if you can still feel the same when I'm through with you. Close the gap. We clashed. He swung. I parried. Steel and steel ripped through hot air, carving ephemeral silver arcs in empty space. Our blades locked. What are you hoping to accomplish with this revolt? What's your end game? My end game? To get out of this hellhole and be free from slavery once and for all. I have my doubts about whether you ever were a slave at all. But no matter. Why attack me? What do you care about the girl? What do you have to gain from saving her? He's right. I have nothing to gain from rescuing the girl. All I've accomplished is making this whole process needlessly messy. That said, do I need to have something to gain? Are you saying I should just sit back and watch as you murder an innocent little girl? I was angry, and I thought I'd do something about it. Nothing more, nothing less. Is that really so hard to understand? Nothing more than a childish hero complex. Just the answer I would expect from a foolish little boy with his head in the clouds. Excuse me? You're a puny worm, powerless to truly save anyone. You merely want to help the girl so you can pat yourself on the back and pretend you did a good deed. You simply want an excuse to be proud of your worthless self. Look at her. Girl's hardly even breathing. She'll be dead soon enough with or without my help. And who do you think is to blame for that? You don't have any right to judge the value of her life. My role in this is irrelevant. Was saving a dead girl part of the plan? It wasn't, was it? You diverged from the script to rescue a girl whose life is of no worth to you whatsoever. All so you could momentarily feel good about yourself. That misstep will be the downfall of you, worm. Enough! I'll put you back in the ground where you belong. Not a chance. Goddamn, for a flamboyantly dressed asshole, he sure can fight. There's not nearly as much force behind his swings as Gratian's, but he's quick. Can barely keep up, let alone react. I hope you enjoy eternity in hell. You'll have plenty of time to reflect on your little lapse in judgment. Damn it. Can't let this bastard kill me when we're so close to succeeding. Need to keep my cool. Yes, he's got me beat in agility, but Gratian's a much more skilled swordsman than him. Can handle this. Question mark, exclamation point? Sheer determination can only mask a lack of skill for so long, boy. Look at yourself. You're out of breath. That sword you're flailing around is getting heavier and heavier. Shut your mouth. Damn it. Probably even broken a sweat. I will. I swear to God, I will have your head. Ha! I'm here too! Lord Barnier! Lord Barnier! Your escape has been secured, my lord. It seems our fun is over. Be grateful you're still breathing, cur. Hey, wait, we're not done yet. Get back here, god damn you! I made to go after him, but in an instant, a wall of guards had formed between us. Traces of fear were visible in most of their eyes. Even exhausted as I was, could have probably made it through. But before I could so much as consider attempting to give chase, I caught a glimpse of the girl, limp and covered in gashes, causing me to come back to my senses. What's gotten into me? There's no point going after him. The slaves have been freed and his valuables plundered. The plan was a huge success. What I should be concerned with now is getting myself out of here. I need to stay focused. Took a moment to survey the hall, reevaluate the situation. Things had progressed somewhat since I'd got it in my head to go after the Lord. Many of the slaves were gone and the guards were beginning to mobilize. They were better equipped, trained, and more fit than us, and we were, for the most part, fueled entirely by determination and righteous anger, which would only go so far in direct combat. Gratin was probably the only one on our side with any sort of real training. One man was not enough to win this fight, especially now that our main advantage, Surprise, was exhausted. Hey, Jacopo, if you're all finished with your business, I'd really like to get the hell out of here. I may be a badass, but I ain't a god. Right, yeah, sorry for the holdup. Before regrouping with Gratin, I knelt before the girl. Hello? Can you stand? Hello? Can you hear me? I gently shook the girl by the shoulder. The only response I got was a limp wag of her head. It was clear she was in no condition to walk. I guess I'll have to carry her, I thought, and made to pick her up. When I saw her face and gasped, dear God, it was horrific. Unsettling marks covered the young girl's face. Primal repulsion was my first reaction, and shortly thereafter came overwhelming pity. I obviously had no way of knowing what kind of life the girl had led, but something told me it was far worse than any of the countless children who grew up in the slums, struggling day after day. Hey, get moving! I ain't waiting around! I'm coming! I grabbed the girl's arms, wrapping them around my neck from behind, and climbed to my feet. I could feel her breath, faint though it was, on my ear. You hang in there. And then I broke into a dash, leaving the fading panic of the great hall behind. So bright. Light? Am I in heaven? God damn, she's surprisingly heavy for how little meat she has on her. What, you think she'd get lighter the harder you ran or something? Just ditch the stupid kid. She ain't long for this world anyway. Hell no, I'm not gonna let all that effort facing off against the Lord go to waste. You're one stubborn son of a bitch, you know that? This is not heaven. Who are these people? Where am I going? I don't have the strength to think right now. Hey, don't you go dying on me back there. Please, I'm begging you. I'm so sleepy. Sleep. That sounds wonderful. How nice it would be to fall asleep on such a warm back. No, I said no sleep. A Requiem for Innocence, Part 1. Tales of a... Wait, we're just now into Part 1? Or was it the end of Part 1? Prologue of Part 1? We're probably safe here for the time being. So, what next? First, I need to take her somewhere she can get some rest. You got nothing in the head of yours except that half-dead girl, do you, kid? What, you fall for her or something? Is that what gets your rocks off? Can you only get it up for the ugliest thing in the city? Alright. Chill, sir. Just a little bit. Not to mention, she can't be older than 10. I like to think of myself as open-minded, but that squicks me, man. That squicks me. No, God, no, absolutely not. I'm merely concerned for her well-being. Right, of course you are. Well, everyone's got their kinks. I swear to God. What I'm wanting to know is, what are you planning to do about all the slaves you just freed? I read that word and I thought he was talking about some, like shivs, like weapons, and then I'm like, that's not slaves. They can't stay here. Not even a chance to defend myself. Right. My people are taking care of that. they've made arrangements with several slave traders who have agreed to transport them to other cities. After that, who knows? So you set them free and then just abandon them? Obviously. I'm not some rich kid playing hero. I gave who knows how many people the opportunity to change their lives. I think I did damn good work, if you ask me. Fair enough. Can't expect you to give them the world. Setting the slaves free wasn't even the main objective. You're more perceptive than you look. Damn straight. Anywho, plan to stick around for a bit. Still owe me that night with a pretty lady. In that case, you should head down to the pub. You'll probably find some of my people there. The ones who weren't injured, at least. Aye, aye. As much as I like to take her to a real doctor, probably do best not to show my face in the city proper so soon after making a mess of the Lord's manor. If one of his guards were to spot me, probably not end well. Which means she is my only hope. It's still afternoon. We're not open until evening. It's me, Maria. Let me in. Jacopo, you're alive? You have any idea how worried I was? I mean, fucking hell. I haven't slept in 2 weeks. I bet my life that I just woke you. Oh, shove it. It's a sentiment that counts. Anyway, I'm glad you're... Wait. What the hell is out on your back? A corpse? She will be one soon if we don't do something. But for the time being, she's still alive. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop right there. I have about 1,000 things I want to say right now, but let's start with this. What exactly are you planning to do with her here? I mean, she looks like she got mauled by a fucking lion. I need to stay low for a while. Can't risk showing my face in the city, so I was wondering if you would mind letting her stay here for a while. Excuse me? Let her stay here? And if you could look after her while she's here, I would appreciate it. No, stop. Time out. I'm not doing anything without an explanation. First of all, who is she? What the hell happened to her? The Lord was torturing her. I rescued her during the revolt. Okay. Keep going. That's all there is to it. That's a pretty pathetic explanation. I'm telling you, that's all there is to it. What more do you want from me? So you're telling me you infiltrated the Lord's manor to swipe a half-dead little girl you'd never even met before? You couldn't have gone for, oh, I don't know, something worth actual money? She's just skin and bones. God knows if those wounds will ever heal. Though if she's pretty enough, we might be able to put her to work, I guess. Let me get a quick look at... I have no words. I can't. Please, Maria. The longer we stay in here, the closer she gets to death. And when she recovers, if she even does, what then? How does she pay for food? 'Cause she sure shit can't work here. I'm not sure there's much work she even can do. We're a business, not a charity. If I'm going to be putting my time and money into looking after her, I need something in return. She doesn't look like she'll be able to offer much of anything. I can offer some financial assistance. We plundered a decent amount of valuables from the Lord's treasury. Even after we divide everything up, my share should be enough to support her for some time. I don't get it. Why do you care so much? What? Do you expect me to just leave her to die? I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that I could have done something to prevent it. I swear to God, does anyone have a damned heart? Because everyone sure seems hell-bent on letting her die. Whoa, relax, chill. You've lived here long enough, Jacopo. You should know as well as anyone that morals and good intentions are enough to help anyone. I don't care. I want to help her. She can't be any older than 10, and her face could very well still heal. I couldn't stand to see her life end like this. Abused and tortured by a madman? It's downright cruel. She deserves better. She deserves to know the world's not all hell and misery. Oh, fine. You win. I surrender. I know better than anyone there's no changing your mind once you're set on something. God, you can be so hot-headed sometimes. So will you help? Well, it's not like anyone else is going to. Now, whether she makes it or not is a question of how much that scrawny body of hers is determined to hold on. So what are you waiting for? Bring her on in. Thank you, Maria. I really appreciate it. Ugh, cut it with the mushy crap. You're gonna make me spew. Please, just stick to your usual snippy bitch act. I'm gonna get a bath going. Give me a hand. She should be able to get some rest here. Hardly anyone comes back here, even during business hours. I have to say, though, even cleaned up, she is a damn mess. People say the Lord's a twisted bastard, but this is way worse than I imagined. Who would do this to such a young girl? Oh, for the record, I checked and she is still, chaste, if you would. Good to know the Lord's not that fucked up, I guess. Thank goodness for small blessings. Not that preserving her virginity is a whole lot of comfort compared to what he did to... Maria? Show a little common decency, would you? Telling a whore to be decent is like telling a cat to bark. Well, start barking, goddammit. Why do you even think I need to know whether she's... chaste or not? I checked, so I figured I'd mention it. Keep it to yourself. You know, for someone who spends so much time in a whorehouse, you sure are easily embarrassed. Huh? What was that? Oh, nothing. I'm glad we get more Maria back. This version of Maria may be the best random side character. And besides, the only reason I'm here so much is to help out with the business side of things, not to make use of the facilities. So you did hear me. Hey, Maria. Ooh, she coming too? Hey there, how you feeling? Can you see me? I've got some warm water if you're willing to drink, if you're up to drinking anything. Still too weak to move on your own, it looks like. It's alright. Hang on, I'll go grab it and help you out. Oh, Lord. Sounds like she just said something. Of thy mercy, cut off mine enemies. Huh? Enemies? All them that afflict my soul. Hello? You okay in there? For I am thy servant. Oh Lord. It's okay. He's not here. We escaped. He can't hurt you anymore. Of thy mercy. It's okay. Destroy all them. Hey, Jacopo? Not to be indecent, but I think she might be, beyond repair, and not just physically. No need to jump to conclusions. She could simply be disoriented. You're safe. There are no enemies here. No need to be afraid. You'll be feeling better in no time. You just need some rest. Human body's incredibly adept at repairing itself. I'll have some ointment for you soon, too. Yo, what? Ointment? How are you expecting to pay for... Don't interrupt me, Maria. Christ. Just hang in there a little longer. You'll be all better before you know it. If there's anything you need or want, don't hesitate to ask. I'll get you anything within reason. Guess it'll still be a bit before you can talk much, huh? Maria, I need to drop by the pub for a bit. I'll get some ointment on my way. Butterfly. Butterfly brooch. Gone. Butterfly brooch? What's she talking about? Is she seeing things or something? Perhaps. Or maybe the Lord took it from her. My treasure. Alright, I'll see if I can find it while I'm out. If it's something the Lord took from you, there's a chance it might be in the stuff we looted from his manor. I'll be back later today. You get some rest, okay? Look after her while I'm gone, would you, Maria? I already agreed, so it's not like I can say no. Just remember, I've got work to do, so I can't be with her every waking moment. A room, a warm blanket, and you checking in on her every once in a while is more than enough. Thank you. Anyway, I'll be back. Ciao. Hey, Jacopo? Yeah? Don't get in over your head, okay? I won't. There we go. There goes that boy getting in over his head. He's doing it. And then I charged in, me trusty blade held high, cutting off Barnier's last escape route. Poor bastard straight up and pissed himself, begging and crying for his life. You were never even in the same room as him, you lying scoundrel. It ain't the details, but the spirit what matters. And I had enough spirit in me to bring the Lord himself to his knees. Forget this worthless twit. I took out 10, no, 20 guards all by myself. This scar on my back is a trophy, proof of my valiant exploits in They all yelling, open the wound again. The only thing a scar on your back proves is that you turned tail and ran, you little chicken shit. You tell him, go. Well, it certainly looks like they're enjoying themselves. Perhaps a little too much, going by how many seem to have drunk themselves comatose. Not that I don't understand wanting to celebrate. Oh, at last you graced us with your presence. Where the hell you been? We've been waiting. Where it is, he made a mad dash to the whorehouse as soon as he got back. I see how it is. You'd rather celebrate with her than us. Must be nice putting prostitutes before your comrades in arms. I'm not putting anyone before anyone. An old friend of mine works there, nothing more. No need to be bashful. Can make up for it by getting your butt over here and drinking with us. You were the star of the show, after all. The what? You were the one who infiltrated the Lord's manor. Today wouldn't have been possible without you. You did good work, and everyone here knows it. For the record, I was going to do it myself, but I decided to let you have the honor. I could have rallied the slaves myself, or I could have rallied the slaves together in half the time it took you. Tell that to the scar on your back, chicken shit. You tell him, go. I see risking your lives hasn't made you three any less unruly, but I'm glad you all made it out alive, truly. On that note, do you have an idea what the casualty numbers look like? Bunch of wounded, but nobody dead. Good fortune was on our side. Raw, unmatched skill, you mean? We're the trifecta of terror. Trifecta of twats, more like. Only reason you and your band made it out unscathed is because we slaves are on the front lines. Have any idea how many we lost? Crouchin! Hello again. Looking surprisingly sober. Not drinking, huh? Just finished my first cask, actually. Let me tell you, these guys are damn lightweights. Hardly even put up a fight. So the pile of bodies in the corner's Grouchin's doing then? What on earth is his stomach made of? So boys, if you really think you're such hot shit, then how about show me what you're made of? Let's drink. See if you live up to your trifecta of tarts or whatever the hell it was. We actually, we want to take our time drinking, you know, enjoy ourselves. Over yonder. Yeah, the wound on my back hurts if I drink too much besides. You tell him. Godspeed, Jacopo. Wait, get back here. God damn it. Bunch of pussies. You won't run on me now, will you, kid? I still have things to take care of. I have to find somewhere to get some ointment, and I'm looking for a missing butterfly brooch as well. A brooch? You mean this thing? Yes, that must be it. The girl says it belongs to her. Could I have it so I can give it back? I don't know. I am the one who found it. There's plenty more in the loot pile. What do you care about a worthless scrap of metal? I think it looks pretty cute on me, to be honest. What a load of bull. Fine, I'll bite. What do you want for it? Huh, glad you asked. Beat me in a drinking contest and it's all yours. Excuse me? I'm gonna sneeze. I muted myself in time. Everything's good. Alright, excuse me? Beat you? You went through an entire cask. What? I haven't even started and you're already admitting defeat? For the star of the show, you sure are wuss. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. The revolt never would have happened without me. Soon, everyone will know who the real star of today's show was. Yours truly. Fine. If you're so desperate for a playmate, down for your little game. But let me tell you, I hold my liquor quite well, thank you very much. Wipe that smug grin off your face and shove it in a barrel full of your own vomit. That's the fucking spirit. That prissy face of yours be licking the chamber pot when I'm done with you. Hey fellas, Gratin and Jacopo are having a drinking contest. Gratin? Who the hell's that? Do we have a Gratin? Right over there, the big fella. He helped with the revolt, used to be a gladiator. A gladiator? Those still exist? Putting my money on Gratin. Bloody traitor, Jacopo's been with us from the very beginning. I'm betting on him. Looks like we're drawing quite the crowd. Got yourself an impressive little fan club, kid. When you've been in the slums as long as I have, get to know pretty much everyone. Just enjoying the music here. Sounds like music from like Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Jacopo is Jack Sparrow. Oh my god. Okay, the more to humiliate you in front of. Right then, the rules are simple. Whoever stays conscious longest wins. Though I doubt it'll be much of a contest. Yeah, you just keep pretending you have a chance. Truth will hit you soon enough. On the count of 3. 3! I don't know what that sound is. What's the matter, kid? You're looking a little sluggish, and this is only glass 4. Huh, look at you. Your eyes are going bloodshot. You're all talk after all. Huh, you keep telling yourself that. Hey, booze wench, keep 'em coming. I could do this for hours. More. Fill her up. Heh. I was quicker than you that time. Better than you look. But don't forget, got a full cask on you. You're running with a handicap. Huh, not the one who challenged you. You're just making excuses for when I beat your ass. How many does that make? 10, 20? I lost count. Throwing in the towel, are ya? What'd I tell you? Step aside, kid. It's just a man's world. Are you even hearing yourself? Shut your stupid persecute face, kid. I never liked ya. Not for 1 second. What? We're resorting to childish insults now, are we? I was planning to swore to revolt long before... long before you ever showed up. And you came marching in and took all glory for yourself. Fucking... Who do you even think you are? Where are you now? I'll have you know I never liked you either. You think that just because you could swing a sword around like a big ape that makes you better than everyone? What the frick? Yeah, just friggin' say about me, you little punk. You wanna go? You wanna go? If you wanna go, take another drink. Isn't that what we're doing this for? Huh? Oh, fuck. That's right. Fill us up again, wench. I love drinking scene. This is my favorite part of Fata Morgana. The world is spinning. That all you got? Your face is red as a baboon's ass. And you're paler a friggin' corpse. One more round, I'll crush you. You can try. Excuse me, what? What's your problem? Booze. Where's the booze? Please don't be angry with me, but, well, we're all out of everything. You're what? Then go get more. Ish, the only pub in town. I have. Everyone's out everywhere. So, it's a draw? How anticlimactic. Seriously. What a load of bull. Hey, he just fell over. He's dead. He's just sleeping. God, he may be the rowdiest man I've ever met. Is he gonna be okay? That looked like it really hurt. Leave him be. He'll wake up when he needs to piss. Probably. And on that note, I'll be in the latrine. Huh? Wonderful. Maria, it's almost time to open up. Gotcha. Be out in a sec. You get some rest, hear me? Gotta run for a bit, but you shouldn't have to worry about anyone coming back here. There's an urn filled with water in the mess hall if you get thirsty. Can't hear a word I'm saying, can you? Well, night. I entreat you to think long and hard about your actions. She seems like she's in great condition. Welcome, daughter of God. You'll be performing miracles for me now. A man stood before me. There were several young girls in the room. They looked like prostitutes. Some of them might have been boys. The man's clothes were beautiful. His jewelry glimmered in the light. His eyes glimmered too, but with madness, not beauty. He was the lord of the land. I had been taken from my home, and now was kneeling before the Lord. And if you cooperate, I can guarantee you'll live more than comfortably. I looked up at the Lord sternly. He was a scary man, but I couldn't let fear stand in my way. I was the daughter of God, his beloved servant on this earth. I had to act according to his will. Miracles are not something to be performed for one single person's benefit. What? Miracles are not magic or parlor tricks. They are a precious gift granted to me by my Father in heaven. Using his power for personal gratification is a grave sin. I will do no such thing. I entreat you to think long and hard about your actions. Do away with such selfish desires and dedicate yourself to helping the people. The power you have been given was bestowed upon you by the hand of God. It is not your power. He is merely allowing you to make use of it for a short time. Pride is a sin. Please consider how you conduct yourself. You're an ignorant, insolent child, aren't you? I bought you. You are my property. You have no right to an opinion. That is not my opinion. That is the way of the world as God. Silence! You're not here to talk. You're here to perform miracles for me and my guests. The Lord glared angrily down at me. I gulped, biting my lip to keep it from trembling. I steeled myself, fought down every urge to look away. As I've already told you, I will do no such thing. But the Lord would not hear it. With a sickening laugh, he took a step towards me. What you will or will not do is my decision, not yours. No, get your hands off! He grabbed me by the hair and threw me to the hard floor. Huh? Seems you need someone to show you your place, child. You are my property. You are to do as I say. You are not to talk back or criticize. And you are to give everything to me. Your life, your body, your soul, your love. Every last thing. My love and my soul are for my Father only. For God. I am no man's property. You call yourself whatever you want. You still feel pain like everyone else. You still scream. What's a little scratch on the arm anyway? How many times have you cut yourself performing miracles, saint? Surely you're accustomed to the pain by now. Now for the first taste of your so-called miracle blood. I imagine it must be truly exquisite if what they say about you is to be believed. That your birth brought an end to a terrible drought. No. Yes. Give unto me your blessing, saint. Cut noise. Please, I beg of you, don't do this. I'm begging you, please. Screaming. My blood was meant for the sick, the poor, the suffering. My miracles were meant for those who needed them. Is this another of your trials for me, Father? People. There's so many people. looking at me and laughing. Well, well, good morning, daughter of God. Hope you slept well. What's going on? What are all these people doing here? As I told you, you're here to perform miracles for me and my guests. No. I tried to twist away, but a jolt of pain ran up my arms. Looking down, I saw heavy shackles around my wrists. I was sitting atop a white sheet on what looked like an altar, and I was naked. No. Why am I... Now, surely you, the daughter of God herself, are not ashamed of the body your father gave you now, are you? You're not some lowly peasant girl. You're above shame, aren't you? Well, what do you think you're doing? This is an act of blasphemy. Lord pressed his hand against my mouth, bringing his face in just inches away from mine. I would encourage you to not insult my guests, Saint. Your job is to provide them with your blood, not give sermons. He placed a knife against my neck. Intense pain jolted through my body. No tears. Now that's a good girl. Simply wouldn't be the same if you cried and blubbered like a lowly slave or a whore. Dignified and saintly. That's what I need you to be. The Lord brought a goblet up to my neck, filling it with the blood flowing from the gash. Gross. Not a great stretch of reading for people that may be squeamish or don't like the thought of blood. He raised it high into the air. Cheers, a Satan's blood and good fortune to all. And then started passing it around to his guests. Staring hastily out into the crowd, I prayed that someone might speak up, might proclaim this to be the terrible affront against the Lord that it was, might declare that I should be set free, that someone, anyone, would speak against the Lord. Ha ha ha! What a wonderful curious item you found yourself with, Lord Barnier. Indeed, you never fail to surprise my lord. But his wealthy companions had no objections. In fact, they were quite pleased, smiling and laughing with teeth bared. Most of them looked like they had never gone a day in their lives without a proper meal, and all of them were wearing masks to hide their faces. An unholy Sabbath. A filthy, perverse blood Sabbath. Sabbath. My consciousness began slipping away, not from pain, but despair. I couldn't bear the sight of them, these men and women who didn't fear God, reveling in depravity. They were monsters dressed in fancy clothing. Or perhaps they were demons taking the form of humans. And these were the gates of hell. Don't like. The Lord held such banquets on a regular basis, and every time he did, he drained me of my blood. Before long, my body was covered in scars and gashes. I could hardly even bear to look at my own arms and legs. In some places, I was purple and swollen. In others, my skin seemed to curl back to reveal the raw, pink flesh beneath. Everywhere, I was wet and slick with blood. The wounds were far worse, far more hideous than any I had given myself to help the people of my village. It was gut-wrenching, repulsive. The Lord sometimes had trouble deciding where to cut, but not out of any sense of sympathy for me. He simply thought that drawing blood from an untouched area of my body would make it more effective. Perhaps I'll use your stomach today, Saint. You should be able to get some nice, pure blood from there. At that point in time, I hadn't been completely stripped of my willpower quite yet. Because my physical restraints prevented me from fighting back, I put all my energy into ensuring my spirit did not yield to him. Stop this. Can you not comprehend that what you're doing is an affront to the Lord? I'm free to do what I wish with my property. Saint or not, you are no different than any of my slaves. The Lord is greatly displeased with your actions. Then use your miracle powers to deliver divine punishment on me. Go on. You can do that, can't you? Your soul will be punished. You may not see the effects now, but you will pay for your sins one day. Ha! You're not as threatening as you think you are, buck-naked girl. Don't give me that look, girl. I have no interest in taking that from you. You'd be lucky to find anyone willing to lay with a girl covered in disgusting scars. Yeah, we're basically, Yep, basically. Oh, I almost forgot. You need to eat too, don't you, daughter of God? I'm told consuming meat increases the amount of blood your body produces, so I've acquired some special, exotic meat just for you. I don't want your meat. Now, don't be difficult. I can't have you running out of blood on me, so you will eat this meat, even if I have to force it down that tiny throat of yours. Slave boy, get in here. Bring the saint her supper. Hurry up, you worthless worm. My apologies for keeping you waiting, my lord. You dare drop food before your lord, cur? You've ruined my robes. Ah! Are you incapable of even carrying a damn plate across the room? Eek! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Stop it, please. Does he really deserve to be hit for that? A slave's sole purpose in life is to serve their master. A slave who cannot follow simple orders deserves whatever punishment I decide they deserve, saint. Please have mercy. Don't kill me too. Hell, I beg of you. All right, then this is how we'll handle it. If you eat the meat, saint, I'll turn a blind eye to the boy's mistake. Okay, I'll do it. I'll eat the meat. However much you want, I'll eat it. So please do not raise your hand against the boy any further. Very well. With a satisfied smirk, the Lord returned the fallen meat to the plate and set it before me. I almost gagged at the stench. Didn't appear to be spoiled, but nonetheless it was indescribably unpleasant. In no small part, I imagined, because it was raw. What's the matter? You said you would eat. Or was that simply a lie to stay my hand, daughter of God? I'll eat it. My hands are still shackled, so I had no choice but to bend forward and take a piece into my mouth like a wild animal. I tried to clear my mind, to not think about what I was doing, how I must have looked, a holy saint of the Lord, unclothed and in chains, gnawing at raw meat like a stray dog. Miserable. Disgraceful. It smells so bad. I've never tasted anything like this before. Why? What? Why? What did he do? He? The slave boy, still on the floor from the Lord's beating, was looking over at me with vacant eyes. Or rather, at the meat. No. It's gross. No. You wouldn't. This isn't... Is it? He didn't deserve this. No. I would never... I couldn't. No. Noises. Ew. Well, is the meat not to your liking then, saint? Hear that, slave? Saint says your brother tastes so bad it makes her retch. No, I didn't know. But you didn't keep your word now, did you? Now listen up, boy. It's a dungeon for you. No, please no, please no. Guards, someone shut this worm up and toss him in the dungeon. Please, no! He's mad. Everyone's completely mad. How can a man like him, a man so twisted and cruel, exist on God's earth? Someone, please, get me out of here. Take me away from this place. Anyone. Oh, Father who art in heaven, I pray for you to lead me unto deliverance. Father, your trials, they are much too great. Nightmares. All right, let's call it there with the first bit of reading, because I do want to play a bit of Xenoblade tonight. Oh man, look at all my old saves. Cool. Still upsetting. I don't know. I kind of like the concept. I kind of like the idea of getting more into an expansion on this bit of the story. I think it's gonna be interesting. It does make me wonder what the other bits of story are gonna be, like the other sections, not just the this thing, but the other thing. Like, are those going to be expansions, or are those going to be like expansions on their bits, or is it going to be something different? I wonder. Makes you wonder if the sudden redness and face discoloration was just an allergic reaction. Oh, maybe to the meat, the gross meat. Ew. I held it together a bit when I was reading that, but ew, I don't like. Um. Ew. I hate, and it's gross. It grosses me out. Like, it's not very often you get it, but anytime, like, any story or a movie or show or a video game or something talks about, like, people being forced to eat human meat, I always go, like, I try not to think about it too much, because then I'm like, ugh. It's, like, definitely, like, makes me sick thinking. I'm like, ugh. Ew. Ew. Gross. I mean, I'm obviously not saying anything. Most sane people would think that that's gross, but for me, I'm just like, it's like, it makes me want to gag thinking about it. All right, I'll have to do a little bit of a BRB to get it set up, to get the Switch set up. It might just be a handful of minutes. I'm gonna also get some water and stuff. I'll do that all here. I'm trying to think when the next time we'll read Fata Morgana is, because I'm not gonna I'll be gone starting Tuesday. So, I mean, I'll be gone for a while, so there will be no streams. But it probably won't be another Fata Morgana stream until sometime. But that's not only because there won't be any times for normal Fata Morgana streams, but also no streams in general for like a week. So, it might be like a week and a half or so till the next Fata Morgana stream. It'll have to be a while. Unfortunate. We'll probably forget everything. I'll forget this whole bit that I read. I won't have to remember the meat eating or anything, thankfully. Forget it by then. I'll probably forget about that in like a couple days, hopefully. All right, I'll be back shortly. I'll get Xenoblade set up. I'll be back. Give me a few minutes.